Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
So imagine finding out that the core software running, like 90% of the Fortune 100 was just quietly breached.
Right, and the craziest part is it wasn't even the work of some, ultra-sophisticated hacking syndicate.
Exactly. No $1 million firewalls being smashed. It literally happened just because someone somewhere wanted a slightly more convenient browser tool and just clicked install.
Yeah, just trying to save a few seconds.
Today, we are unpacking the true cost of our digital convenience, plus the arrival of Google's new era of AI interns.
And of course, the exhausting reality of what people are calling the zombie internet.
Welcome to Connecting the Dots, broadcasting straight from Snarful Solutions Group in Sacramento, California. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan.
And today is Wednesday, May 20, 2026. We've got a really packed deep dive into the source material today. But before we get into the tech, let's get you caught up with your morning star updates.
Always a good place to start.
Looking out the window here in Sacramento, it is a gorgeous sunny 93 degrees with just a really light, 1 to 5 mile per hour breeze.
Nice.
Yeah, but nationally, the map looks quite a bit more turbulent. There are actually 400 active weather alerts across the U.S. right now.
Wow, 400.
Yeah, 400. So depending on where you are tuning in from today, please stay safe and, keep an eye on your local advisories.
Definitely. And looking over at the financial markets, it was a pretty bumpy ride to close out Tuesday. The Dow closed down about 332 points.
Ouch.
Yeah. And the S&P 500 also took a slight dip, dropping by, I think, 22 points.
Right. But hey, if you happen to be holding crypto, you're probably having a much better morning.
Oh, for sure.
Bitcoin is having a really solid day. It's up over $580 to close just above $77,340.
Not bad at all. And moving over to sports, it was kind of a mixed bag for our local Northern California fans. The Oakland A's absolutely crushed the Angels 14-6.
Nice win for them.
Yeah, but on the other side of the bay, the Giants dropped their game to the Diamondbacks 3-5.
Yeah, tough break.
And for the Hoops fans, the Kings are actually resting today, so no game on the schedule.
Well, which gives us plenty of time to focus on our mission here at Connecting the Dots. Because every day, our goal is to break down complex tech news and explore its everyday impact on, you working professionals, families, completely free of the dense jargon. Let's unpack this.
Today's episode is brought to you by Strong Coffee, the premium instant coffee that tastes like a traditional brew, but is packed with 15 grams of protein, MCTs, and adaptogens like ashwagandha. Get clean, sustained energy without the jitters. Use promo code SNARFUL for 20% off at strongcoffeecompany.com.
So I want you to think about the last time you were working on your computer. You probably needed a quick tool to format a document or maybe block some annoying pop-up ads, right?
Yeah, or manage a PDF or something.
Exactly. You found a little browser extension or an app plugin and you just absentmindedly clicked install.
Guilty as charged.
Right. I mean, you didn't read the terms of service. You certainly didn't audit the developer's background.
Nobody has time for that.
No, you just wanted the immediate convenience to finish whatever you were doing. We all do it.
It's basically the ultimate digital temptation. We willingly trade a little bit of security for a lot of immediate utility.
Yeah.
And most of the time, nothing bad happens.
Right.
Which just reinforces that habit.
Well, that exact human impulse just caused a massive, massive headache for GitHub.
Yeah, it really did.
And for the listener who might not be a developer, GitHub is basically the foundational library for modern software. And they just confirmed that roughly 3,800 of their internal repositories were breached.
It's a staggering number.
And it happened because a single employee installed a malicious Trojanized extension for VS Code.
Which is wild. And let's break down the mechanics of how that actually works because it really is fascinating.
Please do.
So VS Code, Visual Studio Code, is this massively popular text editor that programmers use to write software. And just like the regular web browser you use every day, it has this huge marketplace where developers can download extensions.
Right, to add new features and stuff.
Exactly. Maybe they want a tool that color codes their text or, an extension that auto-completes repetitive typing to make their life easier.
Makes sense.
But in this specific case, the extension that the employee downloaded was poisoned. It had a Trojan horse in it.
See, I look at this and my mind immediately goes to a physical analogy.
Oh, I love your analogies. Let's hear it.
Okay, so Imagine a high-security bank vault. You've got the biometric scanners, armed guards, foot-thick steel doors, the whole 9 yards.
Totally impenetrable.
Right. And this vault doesn't get compromised because someone blew the doors off with dynamite. It gets compromised because a bank teller bought a shiny new desk plant from some stranger on the street, walked it right past the guards, set it on their desk inside the vault, and guess what? The plant had a microphone hidden in the dirt.
Oh man, that is so spot on. The defenses were looking outward, not inward at what the employees were carrying inside. That paints a really clear picture of the supply chain vulnerability here.
Yeah.
Because when an employee installs a tool inside their environment, that tool inherits certain permissions.
Right. It gets their access.
Exactly. If that tool is malicious, the hacker doesn't need to actually break into GitHub. They just ride the coattails of the employee who already has the keys.
That is terrifying.
And the scale of the fallout is what makes this so critical. Like you mentioned, GitHub isn't just a regular tech company. It's used by 90% of the Fortune 100. It's where the biggest companies in the world store their private code.
Now, GitHub has officially stated that they don't have any evidence that customer data stored outside of those specific internal repos has been impacted.
Which is a relief, I guess.
Yeah, they caught the breach, they removed the malicious extension, isolated the device, and started their response protocols. But I mean, the damage to those 3,800 internal repositories is done. The desk plant was already inside the vault.
Yeah, the microphone was already recording. And the group claiming responsibility for planting that microphone is a hacker group called Team PCP.
Right, Team PCP.
Yeah, they recently posted on this cybercrime forum called Breached, claiming they have access to GitHub source code along with thousands of repositories of private code.
The ransom note they posted, though, is what I find so bizarre.
Oh, it's weird.
It's incredibly casual. They're asking for 50 grand for the data, but they explicitly state to the forum, like, this is not a ransom. We do not care about extorting GitHub.
They're just throwing it up for auction.
Literally optioning it to the highest bidder on the dark web. They actually wrote, it looks like our retirement is soon, so if no buyer is found, we will leak it free.
The casual tone is just chilling, but it reveals a really calculated strategy. Hackers know that targeting the developer platforms directly is, well, it's highly efficient.
Yeah, why hack the user when you can hack the tool, right?
Exactly. If they compromise the building blocks that the engineers use, the code editors, the package managers, they bypass the end user entirely.
So bringing this back to you, the listener, if you are a working professional or just trying to manage your family's digital footprint, the takeaway here is pretty stark. The weakest link in digital security is rarely the complicated back-end code.
No, not at all.
The weakest link is human convenience.
It really demands a shift in how we evaluate the tools we download. Like, we have to start treating plugins and extensions with the exact same skepticism that we apply to, suspicious email attachment from an unknown sender.
Absolutely.
The convenience of a quick fix just isn't worth the risk if you can't verify exactly who built it and what permissions it's quietly requesting in the background.
Well, speaking of our constant desire for convenience, while humans are over here making simple errors and accidentally installing Trojan horses just to save a few keystrokes, Google is rolling out AI designed to just do the typing for us entirely.
Which ties perfectly into the major news out of Google I/O 2026.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
For anyone who doesn't follow it closely, Google I/O is their massive annual developer conference, where they basically set the stage for the next year of tech. And the entire spotlight this year was dominated by the immediate release of Gemini 3.5 Flash.
And the rollout strategy alone is noteworthy. Google completely skipped the usual preview phase.
Yeah, they didn't even put it in a sandbox for a few months.
Right, they just dropped it globally, making it available immediately in the Gemini app and in Search's AI mode. And they're touting this as their strongest agentic and coding model yet.
It's a very aggressive push to integrate this into the daily workflow of everyday users. The focus is entirely on bringing what they call frontier intelligence directly to the consumer.
Okay, I have to stop the train for a second because we need to define some of these terms.
Sure.
Google keeps throwing around the word agentic, welcoming us to the agentic era, promising agentic workflows. What does that actually mean for you listening right now? How is an agent different from the standard AI chatbots we've all been playing around with?
It's a really vital distinction, and it represents a massive leap. Think about a standard chatbot. It operates a bit like a highly advanced conversational dictionary.
Okay.
You give it a single prompt, You ask a question, or you tell it to draft an email, and it gives you a direct one-off response. It's entirely reactive. It only moves when you push it, and it only takes one step at a time.
Right, so if I ask for a recipe, it prints the recipe, and then it literally goes back to sleep until I talk to it again.
Precisely. An agentic AI fundamentally changes that dynamic. It's designed to handle complex, long-horizon tasks without needing you to hold its hand every step of the way.
So more autonomous.
Yeah, it acts much more like a digital intern. Instead of just answering a question, you give an agent a broad goal. You might say, research our top 3 competitors' pricing for the last 3 quarters, build a comparative spreadsheet, draft an email summarizing where we are losing our margin, and send that email to the sales team by 4 o'clock today.
Wow, so it's not just generating text, it's executing a full multi-step project independently.
Yes. The AI has to break your large goal down into subtasks, navigate different software tools to find data, make judgment calls, format the spreadsheet, open the email client, and deliver the outcome.
That's incredible.
It possesses a level of autonomy or agency. That's what the tech industry means by agentic.
If this technology truly works the way Google is promising, it is going to fundamentally shift the day-to-day reality of the professional world. We're basically transitioning from a workforce that does granular tasks to a workforce that manages AI agents doing those granular tasks.
It requires a completely different skill set. Your value won't be in knowing how to build the spreadsheet yourself, but in knowing how to instruct and quality check the digital intern building it. You become an editor and a manager.
But of course, hiring a fleet of shiny new digital interns isn't exactly cheap.
No, it's really not.
And as we dig into the deeper realities of this Gemini rollout, we're finding out that sometimes these digital interns don't even show up for work when they're supposed to. Let's look closer at the hitting price of the future.
The capabilities of Gemini 3.5 Flash are impressive, sure, but that agentic power comes with a very steep price tag. It's currently 3 to 6 times more expensive than its predecessors.
Let me put the actual numbers on the table so we can see the scale here. The pricing is set at $1.50 per $1 million input tokens and $9 per 1 million output tokens.
Yeah, those tokens add up.
Before we go further, let's clarify that. If I'm a small business owner trying to budget for this, what exactly am I paying for when I buy a token?
That's the core metric of the AI economy. A token is basically how an AI reads and generates language. You can think of it as a chunk of a word. So 1 million tokens translates to roughly 750,000 words.
Okay.
Input tokens refer to the data you feed into the AI, like your prompts or the documents you upload. Output tokens are the words or code the AI generates in response.
Okay, so $1.50 to have the AI read a massive stack of documents, and $9 for every million tokens it spits back out. At first glance, that might sound incredibly cheap. 1 million tokens is a lot of text.
It sounds cheap until you realize how it works.
Right. The problem is how agentic workflows actually consume those tokens.
This is where the math gets dangerous. When you ask a normal chatbot a question, it uses a few tokens to read your prompt and a few hundred to give you an answer.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
But an agentic AI operates in loops. If you tell it to build a software feature, it generates a chunk of code that uses output tokens. Then it reads its own code to check for errors. That uses input tokens.
Oh, wow.
Then it rewrites the code to fix a bug, more output tokens. It loops over and over again in the background, burning through tokens at an exponential rate before it ever shows you the final product.
Which leads to a hilarious but very telling anecdote from the rollout.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
A tech blogger decided to test the new model by asking it for a simple image. The prompt was just to generate an SVG image file of a pelican riding a bicycle.
A very noble use of frontier intelligence.
The ultimate stress test, right?
Yeah.
So the AI went to work, and instead of just pulling an image, it generated a massive, complex block of raw code to manually draw this pelican from scratch.
Yeah.
Someone joked that the resulting image looked like a pelican attending a Miami crypto conference because it had these blocky retro aviator sunglasses. But the real kicker was the cost. That single image generation looped so many times that it burned through over 14,000 output tokens and cost the user 13 cents.
13 cents for a single goofy image of a pelican. Now imagine scaling that up to an enterprise level.
Exactly.
If you have a company running automated agents constantly in the background, parsing databases, drafting hundreds of emails, those pennies turn into thousands or even millions of dollars astonishingly fast.
The tech labs are definitely testing the price tolerance of the market right now.
They absolutely are. But the financial cost is only half the frustration. There's a growing, very vocal exhaustion within the tech community regarding the psychological costs of these massive announcements.
Yeah, specifically the feeling that we are just drowning in vaporware.
The reaction to Google I/O this year was surprisingly muted. And it wasn't because the tech wasn't impressive. It was because almost none of the truly groundbreaking features are actually ready for the public to use today.
It really felt like an endless parade of coming soon. They announced their absolute top-tier model, Gemini 3.5 Pro, but admitted it won't be available until next month.
Right.
They showed off this mind-blowing video generation tech, but told everyone it's limited to a select group of paid users sometime later. The generative UI for search, coming this summer. The agents and mini apps, also this summer. They even teased new intelligent eyewear, but suggested it might be this fall or maybe even next year.
This strategy creates a very specific type of fatigue. When a massive company holds an annual keynote to hype up products that don't actually exist on the market yet, it feels, well, manipulative.
It totally does.
The goal isn't just to excite the consumer. The goal is to freeze the market. They want to convince you to hold off on buying a competitor's product today because Google's vastly superior version is supposedly right around the corner.
As a professional trying to navigate this space, you really have to ask yourself, are we paying premium subscription prices today just to act as beta testers for features that are perpetually stuck in the pipeline?
And that fatigue bleeds right into another phenomenon that's deeply impacting how we experience the internet right now. There's a term gaining a lot of traction lately that perfectly captures this feeling.
The zombie internet.
The zombie internet.
It sounds like the title of a bad sci-fi movie, but it is incredibly descriptive of what is happening. And we should clarify for the listener, this is distinctly different from the dead internet theory.
Yes. The dead internet theory is the idea that the web is entirely devoid of humans, just automated bots talking to other automated bots to generate fake traffic.
Right.
The zombie internet is much more insidious because humans are still involved. But their interactions are entirely mediated by AI. It's humans using AI to talk to other humans who are using AI.
Think about how exhausting this is in a daily workflow. Let's say a colleague wants to send you an update. Instead of just writing 3 bullet points, they use an AI agent to draft a polished 5-paragraph email.
Yep.
They send it to you. You receive this massive wall of text, and instead of reading it, you use your own AI agent to summarize the email back down into 3 bullet points so you can understand it.
You have 2 machines performing a highly inefficient, expensive dance just to transmit a simple thought between 2 humans.
It's absurd.
And it goes far beyond emails. You have influencers spinning up automated YouTube channels to spam the algorithm for ad revenue. You have AI-generated summaries of books flooding online marketplaces.
Drowning out the actual author.
Exactly. You even see it in social spaces. Someone will post a heartfelt, vulnerable story on a forum seeking human connection, and they get a deeply empathetic, multi-paragraph response that was entirely generated by a marketing firm using a language model to build account engagement.
Oh, that just hollows out the core of why we communicate in the first place. It creates this profound underlying sense of distrust. You never truly know who or what is on the other side of the screen.
You're constantly wondering if the warmth in an email is genuine, or if it was just an output token optimized by an algorithm.
And then that constant second guessing requires a massive amount of cognitive load.
If we synthesize all of these elements together, the exponentially higher token costs of agentic AI, the endless vaporware promises that freeze the market, and the sheer mental exhaustion of navigating the zombie internet, it all points to a massive reality check.
Definitely. For the everyday professional, the math simply has to make sense.
The value proposition can't just be about speed anymore. If your shiny new AI coding agent helps you write software twice as fast, you had better be absolutely certain that it also cut your maintenance costs in half.
Because if you double your output, but the AI generates messy, convoluted code that takes your human engineers twice as long to debug, you haven't actually saved any time or money. You've just created a larger, more expensive mess.
You are trading a temporary burst of speed for permanent maintenance debt. The adoption of these tools needs to be deeply intentional.
Yeah.
It's a cautionary tale to avoid AI FOMO, the fear of missing out. You shouldn't adopt an agentic workflow just because it was announced at a flashy developer conference, or because you feel pressure to have an AI strategy.
Right. You should only adopt these tools if they demonstrably solve a specific problem in your life without creating a larger, more exhausting problem in its place.
Absolutely.
Before we wrap up, a quick thanks to Old Glory, an iconic music and sports fan merch store. Perfect for the techie in your life. Use promo code SNARFL for 15% off at oldglory.com.
Great stuff.
So let's take a step back and look at the broader journey we unpacked today. We started by looking at the very real dangers of our own digital habits, seeing how a single, casually installed plugin brought a massive headache to the internal systems at GitHub.
It was a stark reminder that the strongest vault in the world is useless if we willingly carry the microphone inside.
Very true. From there, we explored the arrival of the agentic era, dissecting how Google's new Gemini 3.5 Flash is attempting to transition the workforce from doing our own digital chores to managing complex digital interns.
But we also face the harsh reality of that transition. Those digital interns are surprisingly expensive to run. Many of their best features are stuck in the vaporware pipeline, and we are all feeling the growing exhaustion of navigating a zombie internet where humans use machines to talk to other machines.
Which really leaves us with a fascinating paradox to consider. We are pouring billions of dollars into building technology designed to perfectly mimic human output at scale in order to make our lives easier and more efficient.
Right.
But as the internet fills up to the brim with these polished, perfectly articulate AI agents talking to other AI agents, it really makes you wonder, as everything becomes artificially perfect, will genuine, unpolished human connection, the kind with typos, raw emotion, and actual vulnerability, become the ultimate priceless luxury of the future?
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.